Welcome back to The Take. Listen, 88 The Take hotline has been taken. We missed the payment on our bill. They gave it to somebody else, a sex line. For all inquiring numbers and all inquiring questions, call us at 9-800 The Take. You can reach your boy. It's Mayhem Mike. We got a bunch to talk about. I'm joined with some of my classic members. And you know what? We may be giving away a shirt. Roll the credits. Welcome back to The Take. It's your boy Mayhem Mike. You can find me at Pure Mayhem. Joined with me as always is the illustrious man bun himself, Arash, Mr. Z. Okay? Dragon Ball is calling back for the letter. And the man, the myth, the beard, Bergy. Bergy, what's going on?
Not much, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. I like that shirt in the background, Bergypedia. Hash, how you feeling today?
Doing good. Exhausted. Just did Sammy's show just a few hours ago, and literally had to rush to do some intros because one of my computers decided to fail today.
Technology. You know, you never know what you're gonna get. Speaking of what we're never gonna get, let's roll right into this. You guys have been asking. We have been listening. What is the deal with the Hulk? Right. What is MCU gonna do? Listen, I have two illustrious panelists right here. I'm gonna go with Bergy. Tell me. Bergy, what do you think is going to happen with the Hulk?
You talking about the Hulk? Or we're going with the Red Hulk.
Ooh, we'll get there. Hold on. We need to talk about the Hulk in general.
The Hulk. All right.
Remember, it's green, go, red, stop. Green, go.
Green, go. All right. So obviously we just see the Green Hulk in the last one in the end game, and where he ends up there with the hurt arm. He's got the bum wing. I'm still bummed. I wanted to see him versus Thanos one-on-one, but we never got a chance to see that. So we got him right now. He's going to be part of the new She-Hulk TV series that is going to be coming out on the Disney Plus channel. We know that's scheduled for sometime next year. I think I want to say more towards the end of the year. And then I know he's going to be in that. There's rumors of some other characters that are going to be playing into it. The Abomination. So we got that. Obviously, we have Jennifer Walters, Bruce Banner's cousin. So we have She-Hulk, which I'm super thrilled about. And I love the girl that they have that's playing it. She's from Orphan Black. Fantastic actress. So looking forward to that. And we will lead into another colored Hulk, Mr. Red Hulk. There's General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. So that will be another one that we'll be leading into. So we're going.
So before we go into New Edition, as I call it, like that group, cool it now. What I want to ask you, how Bergy, is how important do you think She-Hulk is going to be in the MCU? Because we could talk about WandaVision, the possibilities and how that affects, right? And I think we're all pretty much on the same level, that out of 1 out of 10, it's a 10 for affecting everything else. What about She-Hulk? What do you think She-Hulk is going to do for the MCU going forward until we're gray and old?
I think we're going to see more of the girl power and stuff like that. We're going to empower women in a role now where it's not just going to be, as an assassin or something. She's going to be a heavy hitter that's going to come in, but also she is someone that can, basically go back to being normal as a person and then, Hulk out in a way, but still have all her faculties. She's not just a mindless beast. I think it's going to lead us into some new storylines where they're going to see her. I think they're going to bring a little more legally into it with the TV series more than anything. We're not going to see her hulked out all the time, but I think we will definitely see her. Plus, I think she is going to be part of the rumor is the new Avengers, because we don't know if the Hulk is going to be a part of it because of the the bum wing there. So broken arm, he might not be able to be a part of it. Can't be one of the heavy hitters. Thor's off into space with the Guardians. So I think she's going to join the Avengers team eventually, and we're going to see a new Avengers lead taking place. And everyone's been dying for the female version of the Avengers, girl power. So this might lead to that, where we will see other characters. Maybe Valkyrie pops into it, Pepper Potts, different things. So I think she's going to lead us into a few different storylines, which is great.
I actually like that theory. I think for sure it's going to be juggling, definitely branching out new characters while also empowering women, which is very important. Hash, it's Red Light. Tell me your theory on this Red Hawk. Who is this Red Hawk? Why should we care?
Why should we care? I mean, you're looking at Bruce. Well, actually, we haven't gotten it yet, but in the comic books, General Thaddeus Ross is the father-in-law of Mr. Bruce Banner, but Jennifer still hasn't been married yet to him yet, so we have to go with Ross, Mr. Thunderbolt himself, becoming more obsessed, and this is where Sword becomes into play. Sword has manipulated the Hulk serum and Hulk's blood, and in order to introduce, I guess, a missing Hulk, we'll say, because as Bergy said, we have a bummed wing Hulk, and in order to get a Hulk, because don't forget, Abomination's in play. Who's going to destroy Abomination? Well, the original Hulk can't, and that means General Ross himself has to step up and be the person that he hates the most, and that is he has to become the Hulk. But Banner's DNA has been altered, and he not becomes the Green Hulk, he becomes a red version of the Hulk. The person that he despises the most, he goes, stop, wait a minute, I'm red. So it'll be interesting to see how they are going to introduce, or how Sword comes into play in the She-Hulk series, and how Ross gets his hands, or how the serum gets introduced to Ross, because he becomes the one person he's been chasing and been hating and has been wanting to destroy since literally 1962.
Mm-hmm.
I love that Red Hulk shirt you got there that says Dad Bod Boba. So anyway, I think one of the greatest things about Red Hulk is that we kind of spoiled it. We don't know if everybody knows about who's watching the show about who the Red Hulk is, but there are other components that will help develop the Hulk itself, the character. Now, it seems like Disney and Marvel have pretty much gotten all their characters with the exception of Sony characters and whatever. We're not going to talk about that. But if that's the case, right? Hear me out on this. If that is the case, I think having Red Hulk and the other characters to follow is actually going to be really dope in branching out, not just female power, but also some old school classic moments. Like, remember when Hulk held up the mountain in Infinity War? He held up the building in Avengers Endgame, right? Actually, yeah, Endgame.
Yep.
So now if we can get more characters, more developmental stories are going to happen. And with that, I would argue that She-Hulk would also bring in some of the Netflix characters as well.
Yes.
So now we'll see a lot more of them.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how She-Hulk comes into play, because don't forget that She-Hulk is also a member of the Fantastic Four.
Yes.
So if you're not having Spider-Man, you have to have She-Hulk. And in the latest toy release that Bergy and I were just talking about, she's in the in one of the video games, in one of the current video games, she's wearing the Fantastic Four outfit. So it's really odd to see where they're playing with this, a contest of champions. If you're playing the Marvel Contest of Champions game, the She-Hulk character is in the Fantastic Four outfit minus the giant four in the center. And so there's been a lot of hints. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there have been a lot of hints every now and then of certain traffic and certain direction of where they're going with it. Of course, we don't know more than what we're talking about, and that is where Marvel's direction is with She-Hulk, with Ms. Marvel, and with the Young Avengers storyline.
Mm-hmm. Hash, just out of curiosity, what is your favorite Hulk movie?
I'd have to go with I did like the first one. I did like the first Hulk movie. I enjoyed the cinematography of it. I liked the fact that it went from screen to screen to screen.
Shut off his mic. Bergy. Green light. What's your first Hulk movie?
I like the Edward Norton version of it because it seemed a little bit more believable with the story. The first one was done by Ang Lee. And the funny thing is with Ang Lee, when he made that movie and you saw the Hulk where he hulked out and he did the whole, all the facial expressions. Do you know where he came up with that facial expression? Where? Ang Lee was in his bathroom on the toilet and he was making, I'm dead serious. I read this in an article and he talked about it. That's where he made the faces of the Hulk was straining while he was taking a poop. That's the faces that he used for the Hulk. So you say the first one is the best one? I mean, come on. You have poodles that got Hulk, like, no. And he doesn't grow 30 stories tall when he gets angry.
Hash.
He just gets more
Hash.
stronger. Come on.
Hash. Gotta go. Green light, Hash. Go.
Listen. Okay, I get it. Him with the mirror seat, I understand. Also, with him going from different sizes. Yes, the dog biting the crotch. Dad not making sense. I understand. Yes, I understand that. But you have to understand this. We didn't have a Hulk movie for quite a while, and we were used to Lou Ferrigno.
Yep.
So to get that after Blade was awesome. It was a blessing. It was a direction that we want to go for. Was it an amazing story? No. But I was happy to get a Hulk movie after such a long drought. That was it.
I think that you need to let that go. You may need to seek therapy. Call our number 999 the take and speak to somebody about the Hulk. I have to agree with Bergy on this one. Edward Norton's The Hulk was the best one. Was the best Hulk we've had to date. Now that could easily change. Maybe Mark will come in and do some things to it. But it developed a story. It developed a character. We got a believable villain, and we even got General Thunderbolt Ross. And he's more the villain than anybody. Honestly.
Well, people forget that Thunderbolt Ross had changed from the first movie to the second movie.
Yes.
And the second Ross is who we saw at the end of Endgame.
I prefer the first one, honestly.
You prefer the first? Yes, I prefer the first. But he's the second one. If you look at him, he's more devious. He's more. He not only hates the Hulk, he also hates the Avengers. So the fact that you already have him hating the Avengers is, I guess, he is his own worst enemy because he later becomes one.
I mean, there's a lot of hate towards superheroes and the Hulk.
But Bergy will agree with me on this one too. The introduction of Red Hulk goes back to almost World War Hulks, and that's the point that we missed really hard. That we get a glimpse of World War Hulk, and also Thunderbolt Ross becoming the second Red Hulk. The first one going back to like 2005, but no one really cared about it. Okay. But having Ross becoming Red Hulk is what you want in the storyline. He hates Hulk. He hates the Avengers. He becomes that to be a hero.
Right. Okay, Bergy, you were going to say something, Gab.
So the thing with General Thaddeus Bolt there, the Red Hulk, he was because he didn't like that the Hulk was basically being a hero and he thought he was a mindless, monster and stuff like that. So he basically created, did war crimes in a way to become the Red Hulk, and he partnered up with leader MODOK, Abomination, to destroy the Hulk. So when he got the Hulk's power, he also got energy draining powers. So he was different styles and stuff like that, through the gamma radiation. Plus also one thing is when he gets angrier, he has similar powers to the Hulk, but the downfall is like the Hulk, if he gets knocked out, he can kind of revert back to human form.
Right.
He doesn't. Red Hulk doesn't. And the only way he can kind of like power down in a way is if he gets too hot, he has no way to cool himself off, and he gets like really red hot, and then he just passes out from that. But he stays the Hulk. Some of the storylines that they've used with him, he has become an Avenger. There was a storyline where he did become an Avenger thanks to Captain Rogers. They convinced him to basically join them to help out. He took a serum, came back to being a human. So he's had a very traumatic and unique storyline, I guess, from being a villain to a hero, back to a villain in a way, because of the way he hates, the Hulk so much.
Okay.
I do want to add one more thing. I did get something wrong. It isn't sword that makes the serum. It's aim that makes the serum.
Okay.
So AIM at one point is the one given the government contract.
So
AIM's have to hand on everything.
I know. Yes. Advanced Idea Mechanics. Listen, we need to talk briefly, if not fully extended, on why this is important for the MC. We talked about its branching out. We talked about introducing new characters. But what does it mean? Because we still haven't gotten Betty Ross. We still haven't gotten, per se. I mean, we did in the Hulk 2 movie.
We got two versions, yeah.
All right, cool. We didn't get Rick Jones, because I don't really remember him in any of those. And there are more key people who are needed for the Hulk itself, the character and character development, but also his enemies also, because here's my thing. We're gonna go through WandaVision, whatever that ends up at. We still got the Multiverse Madness. We got the Winter Soldier, Cat Falcon and the Winter Soldier for whatever political stuff that is. Let's skip out What If. Loki might actually still come back to the main Marvel universe, which wherever that may take us. She-Hulk as well. What do you think the Hulk per se is going to do to the Marvel universe? Besides, because I think Bergy was also hinting at, and also Hash, at Fantastic Four, introducing Fantastic Four. Bergy, you got the green light.
The green light for the Green Hulk. Where he's going to play into this whole series, I'm curious myself on it, because at the end where we see him, he has basically taken the Thinker, Mr. Fix-It, in a Hulk and basically put him in the Hulk's body. I would like to see him do his own movie where they introduce Betty Ross, Rick Jones, Abomination. Could we do World War Hulk? There's different stories there, but I don't think they're going to touch. I mean, the closest thing we got to World War Hulk was Thor. That one where they was on the planet with the Collector in a way.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know where they're going to go with the Hulk right now, because I think he's basically going to take over the role of like Tony Stark in a way, because they don't really have anybody else that can take that role as like the big brain, the thinker. He's their best brain per se. Doesn't have the money background, but I think Pepper Potts is still going to help them with that, to help the Avengers basically be there. He's going to be, I think, in a way in the new movie, he's going to be like a mentor to everybody and just help them along. I don't know if we're going to see him as like a major pivotal role that's going to battle somebody like Kang the Conqueror, or if he does, help out with the Fantastic Four. Although we did talk the other day, I thought it was an interesting storyline, how we've been talking about maybe him going to somewhere like Canada, maybe Weapon X. Maybe he knows something, or maybe we could see something like that, and they can introduce Wolverine, Alpha Flight, Wendigo, that type of stuff, where now he needs to get his arm healthy. Who knows? I mean, that would be a good storyline to add to it. I can't see him being added to the Fantastic Four. I think anything with Fantastic Four, it's She-Hulk more. Right. I think would be the better one there, personally.
Okay. Before I go to Hash, before I give you the red light and go to Hash with the green, let me ask you this. Do you think in a not so distant future, right, that we could get a surprise movie of the Hulk and it includes the Red Hulk to set up everything? Like Disney would just be like, we know we gave you a whole outline of what was going to happen, but boom, take this. Bergy.
I do. I think we could, because I think Mark Ruffalo wants to be part of it and has to have a standalone movie. The Hulk, he's the only one technically that doesn't have a standalone movie in this entire series. If you think about it, Hawkeye's getting his own TV series. Black Widow's got her own movie, but she was part of everything else, but we knew who she was. Cap's got 3 movies. Iron Man got 3. He needs his own. Have him on his own, and where they're going to go after him and General Ross is still chasing him, he takes the serum, has to stop the Hulk because of something, and they go at each other. I think it would be a great storyline. I'd love to see it. But,
Okay. I think, honestly, with the success of She-Hulk, we'll probably get a movie. They're probably waiting to gauge whether or not we'll get a movie or we'll get a series. What's that? Yes. My lawyer's telling me to remind you guys to definitely go to our artist club, Ninja, to support all of our good stuff and buy all of our fan go crazy stuff and all that great stuff. I can't say stuff. I keep saying stuff. Okay, cool. Buy all of our merch, because we got merch. So the website is www.artistclub.ninja. You can actually get some of the shirts that you see in back of Bergy by Hash right there, as well as some cups as well, which I don't have right on me, so you don't see it. Definitely support artistclub.ninja so that way we can get the money to support you guys and give you what you want. Remember, cut the check. Now back to the show. Hash.
Cut the check. Where do we go from? Where
is that like what
you want?
The commercial like in WandaVision in a way? I just feel like
WandaVision, WandaVision.
We got the intro, right? We did grow. We lost the number to the hotline, the sex hotline. We got a good intro. We got the money. We're just working on that commercial, ladies and gentlemen. We're a work in progress. Thank you, Mia. Thank you for the support. We look forward for your suggestions as well. Hash, once again, back to you, buddy. Tell me the impact of the Red Hulk and whether or not you can see a movie or series coming. Thank you.
I think you have to do something with it. If Mark Ruffalo wants the standalone movie, we'll see Mark Ruffalo be an executive producer. We'll see Mark Ruffalo get the writers. If he's not writing it, because we know Mark Ruffalo can do it because he is an Emmy award-winning actor, especially with stuff that he's done for HBO, especially all those documentaries.
Mhm.
It only if you don't see it within the next 2 or 3 years from Marvel, expect a standalone on Disney Plus because that's the place you can see. If you're not going to see it on the big screen, because we've seen it once before, Marvel is not 100% vested in the Hulk. Us fans have to be invested in the Hulk, and we have to start a hashtag, starting saying "Mark for Hulk," Hulk movie. Where's the next Hulk movie? Stuff like that. We have to start a hashtag so that we can get a Hulk movie, so that once the She-Hulk series is over and she jumps into Young Avengers or whatever team that she does with Miss Marvel, what happens with Mark Ruffalo's Hulk? And as Bergy says, is he the new mentor that the Avengers are missing? Is he also actually, if you play the Marvel game, especially the one on PS4/PS5, you see the Hulk character or Bruce Banner being a mentor to Miss Marvel at one point because of a missing Captain America. So you have to throw into that thing of like her favorite heroes, Miss Marvel's favorite heroes is not only Captain Marvel, it is also Captain America. So with both of them missing or not being on Earth, who takes that role? And that is Bruce Banner. So if you're going to continue those mentor lines, that's where Mark shows up.
I don't know if I want Mark to produce or direct the movie. He has loose lips, big muscles, loose lips.
Yes, he does. That is his only yes, you're absolutely right. Mark is the one person that when he goes into an interview, he fails at doing his job. But so does Spider-Man.
So is
Tom Holland. How many times he's
Mark? I think Mark has a higher rep, like a higher. Right.
Yeah.
To a point where I think he has an NDA where he can't do shows like that anymore.
Well, that's why that when he walks around New York Comic Con, he's in a different mask altogether, so you don't realize that a 5'5/7" actor is walking around in a completely different costume that isn't the Hulk or anything Marvel related.
Bergy, you guys brought up a really good point about mentorship. I have a different theory, but I want you to tell me about this character that we need to know about. I need you to tell me who is Ironheart and why should we care? Bergy, go.
So Ironheart was introduced in 2015. She is a 15-year-old African-American female that is a literal genius. She is on par with Tony Stark, on par with Shuri from Wakanda. She basically attends MIT at 15 years old, and she basically created an Iron Man suit out of stuff that she found at MIT. So 15 years old, this woman was able to create a suit, which is, man, mind-boggling. It took Tony how many years to do that? And she was able to do it while sitting at MIT in between classes. Like, that should tell you what type of person she is. She is going to be a key role, I think, with introducing a lot of the younger Avengers. I think she's going to basically play the role of Tony Stark to the younger Avengers, where we might see people like Spider-Man. You're going to see Ms. Marvel. We're going to see Squirrel Girl. We could see Iron Lad. We could see a lot of different characters that could be introduced. Maybe even somebody like America Chavez. You could see maybe She-Hulk. We could get some of those in that storyline. So I'm very intrigued with her. She's only been around 5 years. She doesn't have a huge story arc per se, but she's done enough with Civil War 2 and a couple other storylines. So she's an interesting character, I think, that they're going to be looking forward to.
Hash, your thoughts on Ironheart's placement and impact on the MCU? Also, where do you think we'd first get introduced to her? Where down the line?
We're probably going to get introduced. It's going to be one of those in-betweeners where there is really no place for Ironheart unless you do it towards the end of Ms. Marvel, or you're having her introduced at the end of She-Hulk. So it's going to be really weird of where they place Ironheart. And as I'm going to piggyback off Bergy, she is in a key role where a lot of the mutants are missing weapons. With her being in play, you do have American Chavez, but you also will get Miles Morales. So how are we going to introduce Miles Morales? And that is in the Young Avengers with Ms. Marvel with Ironheart somewhere. So I'm confused of where they're going to introduce Ironheart, when they're going to introduce Ironheart. Hopefully they have her in Ms. Marvel, but I hope also during this time we not only get Ironheart, we also get Miles Morales.
Just want to clarify, we're talking about Miss Marvel, not Captain Marvel. Two different
right.
people.
We're talking. We're talking.
Actually, okay.
Right. We're talking about the new Ms. Marvel that is a little 14, 15-year-old Pakistani American from New Jersey who is a big fan of Captain Marvel and a big fan of Captain America.
Okay. So Hash, while I have you, what do you think is going to be the impact on the viewership? Because here it is, technically, if we're going to be technical, she's the female Black Iron Man.
If you really want to, you just brought back the Spice Girls. You brought 90s. This is like the dumbest thing. Hey, you spice up every girl's life. You bring girl power in full force, and it is the girl power we had in the 90s, the girl power we missed in the early and mid 2000s, and you have a rebirth of girl power with Ms. Marvel into Ironheart. You have all these young girls that have come up. How many? Look, we grew up, and our youngest person is a Spider-Man. We grew up on Batmans. We grew up on Robins. We grew up on Supermans. How many female characters did girls grow up with watching? Not a lot. As far as women characters are concerned, I think the X-Men beat it better than Marvel's main characters because we grew up watching X-Men. You had Storm. Storm is the greatest. I think the greatest African American superhero during that time because they had no other. You had a rogue in a way of a girl who literally had her own a redhead with her own problems. We'll say.
Right.
What did DC have? None. Marvel jumped on that in a heartbeat because who they have? I'm sorry, Invisible Woman not really go up to par.
Right.
And who else do we have? Okay, all of Spider-Man's villains were villains. All the girls were bad girls. How many heroes do we have? I'm sorry, Storm beat the case. So having Ironheart come in, you having a smart girl from MIT. That's your winner. A smart girl from MIT makes her own suit with no help.
Bergy, tell me what you want. What you really want. Tell me what you want. What you wanna really want to zing. Really want.
I love the fact that she basically is from Boston, Massachusetts. They're giving a shout out to Boston, man. Boston's on the map here with the MIT thing with her building a suit. Usually everything's taking place in New York, Metropolis, Gotham, stuff like that. You never hear Boston unless we did something wrong. So I mean, I love it. You know? So that to me is awesome that she came from Boston, and I think with like to kind of piggyback with what Hash is saying, Marvel has done the smart thing here. They jumped on the younger viewership to get the younger kids into, if it's not comics, they're buying the video games, they're watching the cartoons, the TV series, the YouTube videos, the clips. They're gearing the shows towards them. These kids don't really care about an older Thor, an older Hulk. And a lot of them can identify with some of those characters and some of their problems that they had back in the 50s or the 60s. So having somebody like, you know, Riri Williams, who is a 15-year-old genius, who's kind of maybe an outcast to her friends and people. She's at MIT where she's a lot younger than a lot of the other kids. She fits in better. They can relate to that. They're going to introduce a whole brand new line of the younger Avengers with, you know, Kate Bishop, you know, Hawkeye's daughter. You're going to see a lot more stuff with this. So I think this is fantastic what they're doing. And I think Ironheart, well, Ms. Marvel is the first one to introduce, and I know they're going to somehow have some introduction. I'd like to see how they're going to introduce her in the comics. Into the TV series and her own TV series and what's going to happen with it, because she was kind of, you know, mentored by Tony Stark and Pepper Potts, but Tony's no longer around. So how is she being mentored? Is Pepper there? Is it Happy? Who knows? This is where I think the Hulk comes into play to be the mentor to her, or maybe some of the younger Avengers. So it's interesting what they're going to do.
And look how much merch they're going to sell. Think about it. An all-girl Avengers? I'm sorry. This was the Me Too movement that they failed to grab ago. This is what they're going to get now. An all-girl Avengers. We got that at Endgame, and everyone went, this is going to be a reality. For all the girl dads out there, for all the moms that have girls, they now have a team to look up to.
Mm-hmm.
This is awesome.
I'm going to push back. I'm going to say that she's going to be introduced in the multiverse of madness. It may not be a full here's your 10 minutes of fame kind of deal, but it's going to be like you keep hearing that name. I don't know. We may even get an actress then. We may get an actress, a face to go with it. The reason why I say that is because we do need a leader. I'm going to put this pen down because it's not part of our promotional merchandise. We do need a leader. Did I mention to go to www.
Artist Club.
Did I mention to go to our website, of course, artistclub.ninja, and support my random rants, but also buy a merch. Because you know what? I think what we need to do is we need to pick a shirt of the week for the take. And I think the next shirt needs to say Bergy's Blockbuster. And we need to choose a color and we need to have it in Hash's window. Let me know what you guys think. Call the number 999 the take, but also go to artistclub.ninja and let us know.
Don't call the number. It doesn't. Please don't call the number.
I mean, call the. We paid our bill, right?
No, I didn't pay the bill.
My producer is gonna get back to me. But anyway, here's what I'm saying. At the moment, the Hulk has not been established as a fully smart individual that can mentor anybody. Sure, he knows some stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not a genius. He's a genius for what he knows, but that's about it. They made Tony Stark kind of like a genius for everything. You understand, in the MCU, which is not necessarily the case. But if you look at the minds of Marvel, it's generally Reed Richards, Black Panther, Tony Stark, and I'm forgetting. Oh, the Atom, that guy. I forgot his name. I totally forgot his name. Blank, but whatever. We'll come back to it. Oh, you guys are looking at me like I'm crazy.
No, I think you're right. But that's Giant Man. They end up changing. It's Giant Man into the Atom, and then back to Giant Man, whatever.
I'm old too. I go with the clown.
As far as you're right though. As far as the brains are concerned, your major brain is gone, we'll say, and we're talking about Iron Man is not around. Tony Stark's not around. You're correct. As far as the smart ones are concerned, we saw how Hulk took when it came to doing time travel and when it came to quantum physics. You know who was smart at it, and it was actually kind of interesting to be smart at? Ant-Man. Ant-Man, who is a thief by trade, is also smart to actually copy some of the quantum physics and try to go back to it. You're going to see Ant-Man. Remember, if you've played the Marvel games and you've read in the comic books, he continues his mentor's vision and creates more ant-type suits into more armor, which AIM ends up sealing as well, too. So we're looking at prime particles and all the prime suits.
Well, with Ant-Man, he kind of becomes like a B to C list hero, but he's an A list intelligence, if that makes sense.
And you have Ross next to him as well, too. Don't forget, another girl power.
Okay. I've been reading that the Wasp's acceptance has been so I think she's going to be pushed back to the back burner. I could be totally wrong.
But as of right now, spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard right now, they are currently working on Ant-Man 3. It wasn't on the list. Yes. They are going to do Ant-Man 3.
Bergy, yes or no? Do you believe, or could you fathom Shuri mentoring Ironheart?
I could definitely see that. MCU. I could definitely see that, especially if she's going to take over the role of Black Panther and she's going to be the main, hero for Wakanda. I could definitely see her taking somebody like, Riri under her wing in a way, taking Ironheart and teaching her, because she's going to see another, person of color, someone like her, young, overlooked maybe, but she has the power and she has the mind to basically help everybody. I could definitely see that. And it would definitely be awesome to see. I'd love to see Shuri more.
I just got goosebumps. I just got goosebumps thinking about it.
More in the series. I think it'd be great.
He's right. Think about it. Think about Shiri and Riri in the same room, okay? After she gets introduced to Ms. Marvel, after they do Black Panther 2, introducing Shiri as the Queen of Wakanda. He's right. What a great introduction. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. What a great introduction. And you having two Black female characters, one that doesn't have a mentor, but both smart in every which way. Oh, dude. That's a quick one-off Disney Plus series on its own.
Mm-hmm.
You know, speaking of one-offs, this is totally off topic. We didn't have this discussed at all. Do you guys think that Rogue will be the villain for Captain Marvel 2? Hot take. Bergy, go.
I don't know.
Introduce mutants. Go ahead.
I don't know. I'd like to see where they're going to introduce her character, but I don't know. I think Captain Marvel 2 is going to be a little further off for movie wise. I think they're going to focus on some other stuff because her character wasn't very liked in her movie and it's part of Endgame. I thought she'd be a bigger role, so I can't see her being a big role in it yet. For another movie series.
Well, that actually could be wrong because don't forget the X-Men will be in play by then. Marvel or mutants will be fully 100% in play. Could it actually happen? I think we're talking about the wrong Captain America, especially with the powers and stuff, because I don't see Rogue.
Captain Marvel?
Yeah, aka the original Ms. Marvel.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard to explain to everyone how she gets her flying ability and her strength, but doesn't have, I guess, the shooting of the rays of using those powers. So how does Rogue get her? And don't forget, later in the comic books, they just give Rogue her generic role of she's able to steal powers to use them temporarily to save her team.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be difficult.
Okay, so let's talk about power scaling for a little bit in the roles of villains, right? In the MCU, and I need you to use your brains on this one. I need you to think back. Has the power scaling been enough? For instance, Iron Man's first villain was who? His competitor, right? In the first movie, his buddy, his backstabber, right? The second movie, has the villains gotten tougher, or have they made a kind of dip where it's like, I hope fans don't know this, but at the same time, it's a really good movie? Because if so, then we can get somebody like Rogue to fight Captain Marvel. And the reason why I'm even bringing this up is because this will further mutants into the MCU. But just in case they don't have it out just yet, this is a great way to do it. Can you imagine going to Captain Marvel and seeing Rogue getting Captain Marvel's powers to an extent, not Binary's powers, and then fighting Captain Marvel? Remember, Rogue took on the Avengers, not the full team, but some heavy hitters, and handed them their butts twice. Rogue has twice.
You also forget that Rogue also defeated Thanos by herself. Rogue defeated Kang by herself. So Rogue also becomes the pivotal. She becomes Marvel's Wonder Woman in a way where she kicks everyone's butt. But you've made Scarlet Witch that main draw. Remember, we're talking about if we go back to 2000 storylines. Look, we just stripped Rogue of all her powers, and she goes back to basics. And then after that one, you made Scarlet Witch the number one mutant.
Right.
Your focus right now is on Scarlet Witch. I don't see them doing Rogue.
Okay, Bergy, I see you thinking over there.
Well, I'm trying to think of the like we were saying with the power scaling in Marvel and everything like that, and the different villains that they've had. I think the only villain that matched power or was more powerful was with Thor when he had to battle Hela. He couldn't beat her. So if you think about every villain that they've had, even Iron Man, he had Whiplash, just a normal guy, brains, created a whip thing. Not a tough guy, but he ended up stealing his armor and used that against him. He went against in the third one, Killian. He was the nemesis. So that man was smarter because of the way he used his weapons and technology, but he wasn't more stronger or more powerful. Captain America, Red Skull was his equal power-wise, just a little psycho. But everybody, Winter Soldier, same power level, same scaling. They've all had the same level, if anything. Thor is the only one that battled someone stronger, which was Hela. He couldn't defeat her. Neither could Loki with Valkyrie, the Hulk. No one could touch her. they had to create Ragnarok to take her down. So and then Thanos is obviously we know who Thanos is. Thanos is, you know, a god in a way that they all couldn't match even without the power stones.
Right.
So,
and we forgot that we needed Adam. We needed Adam Warlock. We also forget that when he comes back as well too, X-Men kick his butt faster than the Avengers did.
I am so excited for Adam Warlock, and when they finally do introduce that at that end, when they showed that one and that girl looked all disheveled and she was like, I'll call him Adam. I was just like, I was so excited. I geeked out. I am so looking forward to it. But he's supposed to have the stone.
The Mind Stone. The Mind Stone, right? Yes, the Mind Stone.
Yeah, the Mind Stone.
They made us wait for it. It didn't come. So I don't think they're going to leave that undone. I think they're going to definitely wrap that up. So you notice right now on the screen, it says MCU Superwomen. And the reason why we brought that up is because I don't know if you noticed. And I think it's fair to say, I think women are going to be the MCU's Superwomen are going to be the next wave for the next couple of phases. They're going to be very integral in not only introducing new characters, but great stories and just universe building. Bergy, who do you think is going to be the Superwoman to make us go?
I mean, right now, I think Ms. Marvel, the young girl, I think is one of the ones that they're going to focus on because she is the main one that they've used in the new Avengers series and the video games, the comics. She brings them all back. I think she's the one that they're going to really focus on the most. So I see her having the most upside. And I think it's a brilliant strategy by Marvel right now to capitalize on, you know, women power and stuff like that. A lot of the guys that they've used over the years, yeah, the stories are great. We've all known them, but times have changed. History has changed and the storylines have changed. Having some women of power is, I think, the right way to go. I like the storylines. Women have to deal with different issues with the secondary to men and stuff like that in real day and age and stuff like that with the secondary, with everything that they have to deal with, you know, the dollars and stuff like that. I think this is fantastic that they're going to do this. I say Ms. Marvel is the one that they're mostly going to focus on. She's the primary one, I think. And then you're going to have Ironheart. I think, what's her face? Oh my God, She-Hulk will be in next one. Shuri's going to be in there, but I think they're going to focus on her entire movie with Black Panther. I want to see where that storyline goes. The main focus of the second phase of it. You're going to see those characters. Wasp is going to be kind of pushed to the back. We know Black Widow obviously is no longer around. We're going to see that one movie. I still think if that movie does well in the box office, we're going to see a part 2. I really truly believe we're not going to see just a one-off. I think they're going to capitalize on that. In between that and Endgame, I think they're going to use her a little bit more. I don't see other major characters because they haven't introduced them yet. If they show some at the end of trailers, some of the females, then I say yes, we'll see them. But I don't think we're going to see a lot of them just yet. I think the main focus is the young heroes. I think that's what they're going to focus on right now.
Hey, listen. Kong is already using Mjolnir against Godzilla. So, you know what? Anything's possible.
Seriously. Thank you for noticing that when I posted that. Thank you for noticing it.
Did you see the pops? Did you see the pop that they introduced with it?
Yes.
He looked like he's carrying, it looks like a gigantic bone, and it looks like he's got a piece of metal coming through it, and it literally looks like Stormbreaker. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it does. Hash.
Is he joining the MCU? I don't know.
He might. I mean, maybe they're making their fair play, like pick us up. You know what I'm
saying? That play is for DC, and we know where that's going to go.
Maybe they're trying to appeal to Marvel. Hash.
It's part of the Snyder Cut.
The Superwoman that's going to make us go.
A female superhero. I might have to piggyback off Bergy, but I'm hoping this person gets into play. Look, he's actually right. Ms. Marvel is your number one key, especially with what's going on right now, and having an Indian American or Pakistani American, a Middle Eastern American in play. We haven't seen it in a very long time, and the closest we've ever gotten to it is maybe Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. I'm sorry, that's where it always goes.
Okay.
So I'm happy that Ms. Marvel is having her own show. Ironheart, big draw on creating smart scientists, Black women who are scientists, Black women that can go to MIT, Black women that can go to Harvard. Ironheart was introduced in a way to be the Michelle Obama version for young girls. If you look at how things were written for her, she's Michelle Obama as a kid. how she would be portrayed. Not the best storyline. Storyline was very short for Ironheart. A lot of people didn't jump into it. This gives people a reason to go back to go and read Ironheart that they've missed out on. She's only had a few short series. Another key hero is also going to be Shiri. We've always, like, every single person, dumbingly, I'm going to say, you have a true Black queen, an African queen. Huge props on that one. You have an actual African queen. She's in play. And here's what I'm hoping that they throw in soon. And everyone's hoping for this, especially for Black Panther 3. But I'm hoping they're still on that bandwagon. And that is the introduction of Storm. If they bring the X-Men in play, Storm is your strongest character out of the other three. So if Storm's in play, I'm really hoping they bring in Storm, because that will not only change the game, that will change the game for all the phases, because she is a pivotal part in the Black Panther storyline.
So I love me some Ororo Monroe. And if you guys know anything about Ororo Monroe, she is the second leader of the X-Men, generally the leader of, I believe, the blue team. I would argue the best leader, as she bested Cyclops for the control of X-Men. When she first joined X-Men, she was running away from the Shadow King.
Don't forget, she's also the leader of whatever she took for the people that live in the sewer, the Morlocks. Thank you.
I got you. She reverted back to a child, and she went back to being a slightly older adult. Her stealth and theft skills are on par with, well, let me not say on par, can match Gambit, but obviously not on par with Gambit as he led the Guild of Thieves. I would argue that yes, she would be the most powerful, most famous push, but there's too much continuity errors. They can't introduce her just yet, because then, much like Adam Warlock, we're waiting. Where are the mutants? Where are the mutants? Like it's not
but we said it. Even if American Chavez comes in, American Chavez is a mutant. She's not genetically made. She's a mutant.
She's an alien.
But what universe is she going to be in? The What If? She's going to be in the What If. That's not the main Marvel. I got one for you. Here's how I think is going to happen. I'm going to pull a hash on This Week in Pop Culture. Bergy, can you imagine Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? And he's opened up a portal, and then something comes out and fights him, and he can't do it. But then he's saved at the last minute from death from an invisible force field. And it's Susan. Mrs. Fantastic herself.
That would be an interesting twist, per se. I feel like that's a M. Night Shyamalan, style.
But Hash, can you imagine? Thank you very much, Bridget. Can you imagine it being a longer introduction, or is it just I'll deal with you just yet? Let me call my husband, and then maybe the circle closes.
See, this is where you go into another storyline. And if we're going right into this one, this is going right into, and as you want to do it, right into Secret Invasions. But that's because Sword's in play. That's because we forget that by Captain Marvel, apparently in 1991, all the Nick Fury scenes that we got isn't Nick Fury. It's a Skrull. What? Did we forget that we just watched Miss Marvel, the first Captain Marvel movie, and at the end of the movie, it's not Nick Fury? So the whole entire time, from the introduction of Captain America to Endgame, we've had a Skrull Nick Fury. And during this time, the Skrulls are sort of. How are you going to introduce Skrulls in a way where they are now helping the mutants or helping S.H.I.E.L.D.? Remember, who helps S.H.I.E.L.D.? Nick Fury is not in play right now. Nick Fury hasn't been in play.
See, I have a problem with that, but I accept the Secret Invasion. First of all, is Samuel L. Jackson going to be Nick Fury from henceforth? Because if not, who's going to be Nick Fury? Because the only other person I think that could play Nick Fury is Kurt Russell, or Kurt Russell lookalike, Ooh. And if that's the case, how are they going to work that in?
I could see Kurt Russell being a Nick Fury, I just don't see them changing it, because now you have to redo the comic in a way to create it as a white character. I like
the white character.
They already had
a white character
first. I know. Now you'd have to go back to him. which changes a lot of storylines and continuity issues and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's interesting. I see Nick Fury in it until they somehow like off him off or something, and then like we get a whole new Nick Fury, but he's not going to be called Nick Fury in the MCU. As far as through the whole storyline of Nick Fury being a Skrull, from what we've seen, I don't think he's been a Skrull the entire time. I think the whole time. I think a couple of things he's been a Skrull, but for the most part, he's working in outer space with Sword, because we saw it at the end of the Spider-Man movie where he's sitting up there and he's like, they're on a spaceship and he's like in Tahiti where Coulson went in a way. So what was he doing up there? He was recharging his system valves, and at the end he's like, great, now I gotta go back and fix everything that these heroes screwed up in a way. So I don't see us with that, with him being the Skrull, but I'd like to see what they're going to do with the Skrull invasion and with the secret invasion, how they do it. Because are they going to introduce the Illuminati? Because if they introduce the Illuminati, now it opens up a whole other storyline where you now have with the Illuminati, you've got Iron Man, but no longer. But here's the problem: you can't do the Illuminati. No more Iron Man. We haven't even introduced Mr. Fantastic. We haven't introduced Namor. We haven't introduced Black Bolt or Professor X. So Doc Strange is the only Illuminati right now. So you don't have that, and that's where the Skrulls kind of got their powers from. Is the Illuminati went to them and basically was like, Earth's off limits.
Oh, and don't forget, don't think about, it's not even a first Illuminati, even a second Illuminati, which happens later down the line too, where everyone holds a stone, and you have Captain America who holds a stone. So you're missing another person. Steve Rogers and Tony Stark are very crucial to the storylines, to all of this.
You know what?
Who's there to replace them?
Listen, I want to unpack the Illuminescence, but let's do that another time, because we need to establish the MC universe first.
That's a whole other stuff.
I think the best way to go about this is to honestly introduce these characters into Multiverse of Madness. For instance, something happens, Nick Fury is white again, honestly, but we'll see how that goes. Hash, because
why switch it? What if a second Nick Fury shows up while Nick Fury?
Okay, so here's the thing.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it in Falcon and Winter Soldier, where we get the new Captain America. I
think personally, if you want I think in Multiverse of Madness, we're going to get a lot of the previous the previous characters, the previous actors and actresses, right, before they send them off. I think that's what's going to happen. We're going to get Robert Downey Jr. We're going to get Chris Evans. We're going to get everybody back for one. The gang's all here one last time for whatever reason. And then after that, it's going to change.
And that's going to be and Secret Invasion is going to be a Disney Plus. So they put Disney Plus on there. Show me the money is what they're going to be saying. Because that's they're talking Chris Evans is coming back. If he's not coming back for Kang, he's come back for Secret Invasion. Their viewership just destroyed everybody.
Cut the check.
Yeah.
Listen, I like your beautiful faces, but I'd be remiss to remind you that hit it, sponsors. Go to w.artistclub.ninja. Tell us in the comment section, in the description, what shirt you'd like to proceed us to wear, preferably this guy right here. Make him your template. I'll wear some as well, and we'll definitely wear it for next week. You know what? I think we need to do a contest, and I think whoever comes up with the best Secret Invasion plot to end the MCU will give one free shirt away. What do you guys think?
Sounds like a plan.
Bergy, listen.
We'll put it up. We will put it up. We'll put a post starting tomorrow via Instagram and via our Facebook page. Go and follow us on www.facebook.com/thisweekinpopculture. Don't forget to tag The Take, and go and check us out at all of our Instagram pages, which is Evil Comics Inc. And you can do it at Geeks Unlimited on Instagram as well too.
Great. Listen, let's wrap this up. I think we've hit a pivotal mark here. I think we've made some progress. Bergy, I need your thoughts. How would Secret Invasion happen, and where would we go from there?
How does it happen? So right now, I think Secret Invasion, if they're doing it right on Disney Plus, they're taking over the fact that the Earth's heroes are in total disarray because we're missing Black Widow. We don't have Captain America. We don't have Iron Man. Hulk is down. Maybe we see somehow the Hulk is back to full capacity. Something like that. You see some characters. I think that's a good way for them to infiltrate our government and everything going. I think that's enough to do. I think that's how they're going to do it. They're going to capitalize on Endgame where everything is in disarray, and that's how they're going to start to do the invasion with us.
But Hash, who's going to be Nick Fury? How are we going to get Ironheart? How is that going to affect She-Hulk? How can we just say Secret Invasion? What about Rogue?
What about David Hasselhoff coming back as Fury? No, I'm kidding. I mean, that's probably the last thing anyone wants to see is probably the Hoff coming back to being Nick Fury. But I agree.
Wants to see that.
Having an actor, especially look, we can go back, and if you really want to see how Kurt Russell has acted in a suit to be a military type guy, to be that role, go back to the Fast and Furious movies. He was brought in to have a secret team. He can come in and be the next Nick Fury for a short while. Remember, Furies have always changed. And I think Bergy can attest to this one, so I don't know if I read this right or wrong.
Yeah.
Nick Fury is almost like James Bond. Anyone can be Nick Fury. It's code name Nick Fury. Because they've said that even the first white Nick Fury was just code name to get introduced. So Nick Fury is the white is the James Bond of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know how to explain it. It's like the worst thing. He is the version of James Bond, so he could be any single person. Let's say, I would say Idris Elba could easily be James Bond. Let's do that. I mean, look, if we have a black Nick Fury, why are we wasting our time with this one? Nick Fury is the James Bond of the Marvel MCU. He can be replaced, and anyone can be codenamed Nick Fury, which means all three of us can be Nick Fury.
As I said before, his secrets have secrets, so you could do it.
I'm willing to put some money down and say that at the Multiverse of Madness and from there on, what we're going to get isn't a definitive Watcher. Although RIP to Stan Lee, he was a great Watcher, even though it was never confirmed. I think we'll get a definitive Watcher. And with that, we'll also get the Infinity Formula. And with the Infinity Formula, we'll also get life model decoys of your boy, our fan, Nick Fury. But I think they're going to change it. See, there's so many things we can go over, but unfortunately, we have to close the show. I am your boy, Mayhem Mike. Join us next week where we'll tell you who the official sponsor of this show is. Believe it or not, it's around. It's the opposite of geeks. But until then, I'm your boy, Mayhem Mike at Pure Man. You can find me at Pure Mayhem or Geeks Unlimited on Instagram. Joining with me is Bergy. Hi, Bergy. Where can we find you at?
MJ Bergy 23 at Instagram, and you can find me at Facebook.
And then, of course, Hash. Right? Cool.
You can find me on Instagram at ARASH EVO on Instagram, or catch us every Sunday with This Week in Pop Culture.
Before we go, listen, I understand. You guys are upset. 999 to take. Let us know how you feel that Hash said the first Hulk was the best movie.
Hey.
Yeah, roll the credits, please.
No credits. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, guys.